Hi. It's been a while. Today I'm going to be doing a pretty in-depth recap of all the comic books I've read in October. It actually was a pretty big month for me in terms of comic consumption. That sounds kind of weird. And I have so many thoughts about the ones that I read, so let's just get straight into some single issues. First up we have Batman by Matt Fraction, issue 2. I think this series so far has been so promising and so well told. The first issue with Killer Croc and how beautiful that scene was by the fountain, Batman even taking his mask off to talk to him, it just felt very sincere, and the second issue did not disappoint at all. I probably preferred the first one just because I thought it was more sweet, but this one did a lot more for Robin, and I really liked the way it kept cutting between Batman fighting with Robin, well, not with Robin, but with Robin, mixing it with bits of him teaching the three Robins to drive. I thought that was very, very sweet and very, very cool, and the way it then applied to the issue later, very, very good. This shit is great. You should actually get on this now while it's ongoing. Issue 3 just came out today, so I am gonna get on that tomorrow, I think. But yeah, this is great, read it. Next up on the single issues this month is the last one because I've only read 2. Punisher Red Band 2. Now, this one was conflicted for me, I'd probably describe it as disappointing, to be fair. I just thought it completely under-delivered in every single way, and I think the premise of the series, like issue 1, I thought was pretty cool. The way it's Punisher's amnesia, so it's a good starting point. I thought it was all pretty interesting. But, I mean, the amount of ads in this book, it was like every other page there was an ad, sometimes even a 2-page ad, so then you have to flick it. It felt like Marvel really needed a bag on this one, and I just thought it was quite distracting almost, and if you're distracted by ads when reading a comic book, something's definitely wrong. I just feel like this accomplished nothing in terms of the series, but also in terms of Punisher's character, and now I'm just not as excited for issue 3, so that's kind of where I'm at with this. But yes, that is all the single issues I've read this month, at least physically. But now on to bigger books, trade paperbacks, if you will. The first comic book I read this month, or well, kind of on the last day of September, but I wanted to count it anyway just because I wanted to talk about it, was Daredevil Yellow. This comic book, when I read it this month, instantly became my comic book of the year. Pretty high up on my Daredevil list of all time, and I've got a big collection. I've got all of Bendis and Malieve, I've got lots of Frank Miller stuff. This, to me, was just the most beautiful telling of his origin story I've ever read. Do I think it's a better origin story to read than Man Without Fear? That's a different question, but in terms of sincerity and art and beautiful nature to the way it flowed, how it was all kind of done through letters to Karen after she passed, I just thought was insanely great. I guess this story is just kind of dealt with such grace and delicacy, and you can't read this and not feel a single bit of emotional connection, and if you don't, then maybe it's not right for you, but for me, I just, as someone who's very attached to the character anyway, this just delivered in every aspect for me and was a 5 out of 5, just adored it. I thought it was incredible. The way it handles introducing Foggy, the way it handles his relationship with his dad, that scene where they're playing pool, there was so many highlights and things that stuck out to me, and I just think Daredevil Yellow is, and should be, the next comic you read, whether you're into Daredevil or not. I don't think you need to know much going in. Please read Daredevil Yellow by Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb. On to the next one. Absolute Batman. This is a very cool alternate hardcover. Let me get the light reflection off. But yes, Absolute Batman. Holy shit. This is the best ongoing comic right now. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's on issue 13. Issue 14 comes out in late November. Every single issue I've read of this is only 1 to 6, but I am up to date in issue 13. I just wanted something to hold to represent, but I read issues 1 to 6 on here and read all the rest on the app. I haven't had this much fun reading a comic book in a very, very long time, actually. I like to read a lot of sad ones, and this I just think has so much energy, personality. It uses a lot of pink, purple, those kind of colors, and I just think it's so inspired and just is the opposite of boring in every way you interpret that. Biggest highlight for me was when Batman is stuck in Ark M, not Arkham, Ark M, and is being tormented by Bane. I just think that was insane. And then even leading on to when he actually fights Bane and you find out Bane isn't even juiced up yet. There's so many scenes. If you're on Twitter, you've seen loads of little bits, or even TikTok. I think if you see those bits and you decide not to actually read it yourself, you are just missing out in every way. Absolute Batman is so good. Like I said, easily the best ongoing in comics right now. Please read Absolute Batman. On to the next one, and the next one on my list is quite a chunky one. Punisher, welcome back, Frank. Welcome home, Frank. This is kind of what kicks off the Marvel Knights Garth Ennis era of Punisher, I would say. This one took me a while. It's big. I have grievances. It's not perfect by a long shot. I'm not really a fan of Garth Ennis because of his work on The Boys. I'm not really a fan of Steve Dillon's art. I just think he is... I'm not an artist, but I really am not a fan of his style. I really liked the Mara Inucci stuff. I think Mara Inucci is probably my favorite Punisher villain besides Jigsaw. My only complaint is that the origin of her and how she gets kind of crippled, I'd say, or get all her limbs taken off, is very cartoonish. And I don't think in the Punisher special they can translate it well at all. If in the Punisher special with Jon Bernthal, Mara Inucci is crippled by polar bears in a zoo, it will just feel very cartoonish. She should be crippled by him with a truck, something just more realistic and believable. That took away from the book for me personally. But overall, Punisher by Garth Ennis is good, and this is where you should start with reading Punisher, 100%. And then following the Punisher 1 to 12 of Welcome Back, Frank, I read issues 1 to 37 of the Marvel Knights Punisher run, and it's just more of the same, if not worse. They do this stuff with the IRA where Punisher goes to the UK, and it just feels very out of touch. Steve Dillon's art is just still not great. There's some villains and characters in here that feel very weird. The whole detective soap stuff, I just thought was the most Garth Ennis eye-rolling Punisher stuff I've read in ages. I wouldn't recommend reading 37 issues of Marvel Knights Punisher. I don't know why I kind of put myself through it when I wasn't enjoying it. I think I'm just too much of a completionist. But yeah, Punisher is okay. 2.5 out of 5. It's mid, but the actual meaning of mid, not bad mid. Read it if you want, I guess. Next up, I have read it on the Marvel app. I don't have a physical copy, but it is Bullseye's Greatest Hits. I'm not sure who the writer is, but I know, again, it was illustrated by Steve Dillon. And that was my biggest grievance with it. I thought it was actually really cool. I think the parts in the facility are quite long in dialogue and overdone, but the actual Bullseye flashbacks, the baseball scene, the scene where he breaks out, it's a very quick and easy read. It's great, and it does establish Bullseye very well. I personally prefer the origin in Netflix's season 3 and how he's less just psychotic for the sake of it and just has reasonings and it needs a North Star. I think that is a way better handling of it. So personally, if you want a good Bullseye adaptation, watch season 3 of Daredevil on Netflix or Disney Plus now. Next up on the list, we have Spider-Man Blue. Oh my god, this color series that Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale do is astounding in every way. And this one really spoke to me. I just think the way it's told through Gwen Stacy's like audio tapes from Peter to her was so like well handled and pretty, and it does make you kind of aware that Peter sucks with how he treats women, Gwen specifically, when MJ comes into the scene. But I like how it handles Green Goblin. I like how it handles a lot of the villains. I like how it handles Spider-Man's dialogue. He's not too quippy, but he is quippy, and it's just perfect. But the book as itself, as a whole, I would say, is just beautifully melancholic, and Tim Sale is still the GOAT. For this next one, I read it on the Marvel app, but here is Hulk Grey, another part of the color series. I've got one left, which is Captain America White, which I'm still definitely going to read. I'm just taking my time. But Hulk Grey was definitely the worst one I've read so far. It didn't feel as engaging as Spider-Man Blue or Daredevil Yellow. The side characters were kind of boring. It just wasn't very provoking or interesting. It feels like it was trying to be Gwen's audio tapes or Matt's letters to Karen, but with therapy of Bruce Banner. And it just didn't hit for me. It really didn't hit the spot. And I wish it did. I wanted to like it, but I just couldn't force it. But it's still definitely worth a read. Hulk Grey is still good. It just, out of the color series, it wasn't the best. Now, when it comes to Batman Court of Owls, this is easily the best comic I've read this year. Without a shadow of a doubt, it enthralled me from the first page. The scene where he goes into the labyrinth and you are genuinely in a labyrinth yourself because of the way you're flipping the book blew my mind. I went backwards by accident. It was great. The mania and the chaos of it, the Alfred and Robin stuff when Bruce goes missing and he comes back. It's so emotional and sweet, and I really am excited to read City of Owls, where all the Talons get released and stuff like that. This is my most recommended one besides Daredevil Yellow this month, 100%. Court of Owls, and my reference was from the TV show of Gotham, and I didn't realize how much I was missing. I think Court of Owls is a great villain. I don't think they should use it in the new Batman film yet. I think they should establish more villains first so it hits harder, but if they did, I wouldn't be annoyed because I'm sure Matt Reeves knows what he's doing. But that is all the comics I have read this month. Let me know what you think of my opinions and these books in your opinion, but also let me know what you've been reading lately in the comments. Love you all, stay safe, and peace out.
Jesus fucking Christ, you're the Bay Harbor Butcher.